Hey everybody, welcome to John D Podcast. I'm your host, John D Miller. Welcome to episode number 55, everybody. Number 55, numero 55. In the old Espanol language, that's right. 935, going on 936 days now. No booze. Yeah, no booze. How are yous? How are yous? How are y'alls? Yes, how are you? I know, it's been a minute. July 22nd was the last time I was here with you guys, and I apologize for that. I've just been busy. I've just been doing some things here and there. One of the things I've been doing, big shout out and a big thank you to Randolph-Macon College in Ashland, Virginia, for having me up there for a comedy night, which was awesome, back on September 3rd. I hadn't been on stage that long in years. I think I did about 17 minutes. Majority of it was brand new material. Like literally. I have, it's literally months old. Not some of the other stuff that I am, parlaying when I do a set here and there. That is more along the lines of, stuff I did years ago. Or maybe I've added something onto it. But no, a lot of it was just brand new, never. And these people were so cool. I had said, I felt terrible because I put a thing on Facebook about it. And I said, let me see if I can make some college. And it freaking fucking auto spell corrected to kids. I was trying to put folks. And I was bad. I didn't even see it for like 2 hours afterwards. But yeah, I went out, and these folks, these college folks were so nice and supportive. Elizabeth, I believe. Well, yeah, Elizabeth. I should remember that because it's a name that's very prevalent in my family, multiple levels, and I should remember that. But Elizabeth, and then Ren, who he was awesome, a guy that helped me out with trying to make sure my phone was set up. I don't know. I couldn't find out how to get my phone on the thing. I wanted to record it while I was on stage, and I wanted to turn off the lock screen, and he helped me with that. I don't know why I was having a problem. I'm only 49. But they were awesome. Very cool. I did new material. I had jokes that I wrote just for them or just for maybe a college crowd, but I think are jokes that I could end up using in the future just in general, which I think was awesome. I won't tell them to you here, but if you want to see me, you can come see me do comedy. I know I have a face for radio now, but I'm still going to be out there. But they so cool to hang out and do that. Hadn't been on a stage that big in a very, very long time. It wasn't even that big of an auditorium. I think it says it can seat like 400 or maybe 600, but I don't know if it was that big. But it was a nice audience, good sized crowd, and they were very supportive, very cool. And Brent Blakeney was the headliner. Had never met him before. Heard many things about him. Yeah, a guy who's younger than me. I say younger because he's younger than me, but I think he's been doing comedy a while. But I'd never met him before. Very solid comedian. If you ever see him anywhere around you on a show, I highly recommend going to see him. He's a funny dude, a very nice guy. And but yeah, the people were very supportive. It was awesome. And I had a good time. It was just weird to be on a stage like that because the only thing I've been doing has been open mics, right? So I didn't really know what to expect. First I said, it's college kids. It's in Richmond. I'm thinking rowdy college kids. Like I've done a lot of shows that are campus adjacent to a big college, Shippensburg University or Virginia Tech or Radford or University of Florida. Those are just ones that stick out where I had different times where I was campus adjacent to where the actual college was. So a lot of, there was boozing, there was all kinds of other stuff going on, and I was into it at the time. Now, this was different. This was actually on campus in a school building. And so on campus had to be, as they put it, clean, a PG-18, which I think is what I did. And, but I was kind of sweating it. I was kind of sweating over the course of the week, thinking, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Because campus adjacent. No. So I was like, okay, I really got to be on my game here. And so I kind of did. I did a little sweating. I planned it very well. I rehearsed most of it. sort of going through my head, making sure that everything was kind of copacetic. I had brand new stuff that I wrote just for the show about me being an older person than they are. And everybody was really cool. Everybody was very cool. I had a good time. I got done with it. Really thought, like I walked out there. It was so strange. Like they said, okay, it's going to be about 10 minutes. 10 minutes until the show starts. And I was sitting there at one point like, man, I was telling my lovely wife, Liz, the night before, I was like, I'm kind of nervous. I don't know what I was doing, thinking, okay, yeah, I go entertain some college kids, right? It'll be fine. But, you know what I did? I just said, look, what's going to happen is going to happen. This is definitely not going to be the worst show that I've ever done. I've had worse shows. I knew before I even went out there, whether it was good or bad, that I have had worse shows than what I was going to experience on that stage. And so I just went out there and just did my thing. And so, but they said, hey, all right, John, come on out. And I went out there and I thought, yeah, literally I was about, and there was a curtain. I had to go out from behind a curtain. And yeah, it was like on like stage. And I was like, okay. And I just peeled it back, went right out there. And I was just, I don't know. It reminded me a little bit. Not that it's the same. Not that my experience is the same. But it reminded me of the scene in the movie Comedian, if anybody's ever seen that. If you are a comic, you need to see the movie Comedian with Jerry Seinfeld and Orny Adams. It's more of a documentary. It's about when Seinfeld got back into doing stand-up after not being in it for a long time. He threw away all of his old jokes and started over again. Now, his process was a lot easier because he was Jerry Seinfeld. He could go to the best clubs in anywhere in the country and say, hey, can I do a set to practice? And they go, absolutely. Because why would they not? I get it. But there's this one scene in the movie where he talks about, I just need to get that mic out of the stand and that's it. I'm back in show business. And I don't think I was quite there yet, but there is a scene earlier in there where he talks about the new stuff is starting to feel like the act. It's starting to feel like the old act used to. Just that comfort level. And I did some of these jokes. I've done them. I know the people who go to open mics are like, yeah, same 8, 10, 12 jokes that you've been working on. So I felt there was definitely a point there, even when I was doing my set, I was like, this is it. And I felt awesome. And the people were nice. And I may never, ever do another show like that ever again. I have no idea. However, I would definitely, I don't care whatever happens to me, as far as, I could, let's say I somehow became famous tomorrow and they, hey, Randolph-Macon. Yeah, gosh darn it. We're going back to Randolph-Macon. They were awesome. So thank you very much to them, Elizabeth and Ren, and anybody else who was there who was supporting the show. Fantastic. And go see Brent Blakeney if you ever have the chance. That dude's funny, man. That dude is funny. All right. So, lots been going on. I'm looking at just notes of things that I've written down over the course of I don't know how many weeks. Not even 2 or 3 weeks after my last episode, which is July 22nd. But I'm saying just stuff I've written down just in the past 2 or 3 weeks. And I know some people say, well, why are you talking about current events? Why don't you come up with something that's a little better? You used to talk about, weird tourist traps. That's what somebody reminded me of the other day. Yeah, back a couple of years ago, I did an episode. And in the episode, I did a feature. I don't know what you call it. But I did a thing about a segment talking about some of the weirdest tourist traps in the United States. And I actually, one of them, do you remember in the movie, in the movie Vacation, National Lampoon's Vacation, there was a part where he's like, Clark is sitting there going, oh, you want to see the world's biggest ball of twine? That is a real thing. So anyways, people are like, why don't you do that? We like when you do that. And I will. But I want to do them with somebody else on here. I'm tired of talking to myself. I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to myself. You know what I mean. I know. People are like, hey, John, maybe you should go out and make some friends. I'm like, I know. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. And a lot of people like when I talk about the current events, when they're more current. As for instance, I was doing the Randolph-Macon show. Yeah, I stopped by to get something at the local Wawa to get something to drink, right? Get something for the ride home. No booze, of course. Just some a half and half, which was terrible. Wawa, please get better on your drink making. I don't ask a lot, but for $1.49, for a bottle that size, I just, could you make it a little better? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Anyway, I stopped there, and while I'm in the store, I heard this woman talking about how Jimmy Buffett had died. And she was very upset. She was not like screaming and crying, but she was, oh my God, that's terrible. Now look, this woman was, probably early 60s. That would have been my guess. I've been very wrong about that at times, about guessing somebody's age, much less a woman's. And it's actually been a sort of a bad situation. However, that would be my guess. If I worked at a carnival or something like that and it was the guess your age, that's what I would have guessed. Now, this woman, so she, oh my God, that's terrible. Jimmy Buffett, right? Hadn't heard about it. And, I'm waiting there to pay for my half and half, my Arnold Palmer tea thingy. And she said, oh my God. She said, did you know about that? I said, yeah, I knew about it a couple of days ago. She goes, it's terrible. And I just went, That's what I did. And the look this woman gave me, she just, oh my gosh. You would have thought I stomped on her foot. I mean, not the pain part, but just the look of just what? What? She just had that look. What? Are you serious? I was like, nah. I don't understand Jimmy Buffett. I don't understand the whole, the song, Margaritaville. What the fuck? That song is sad. It's about in a way it's relatable because the guy seems like he's a loser like me, but he's not, anybody who lives at the beach. I guess he's got me beat on that part. I personally, I never really liked a lot of the music. Cheeseburgers in Paradise? What the fuck are you talking about, Jimmy? Seriously. Cheeseburgers in Paradise. And then you sing about what's on the... I like mine with lettuce and tomato French fries. Oh, my God. You were fucking high, man. You know what? I never personally found him to be a great artist, in my opinion. But other people did. I know. I mean, other people I've been to concert. Oh, you're going to that concert? Yeah, I'm going to that concert. Why? Because I like their music. So, okay, if you liked his music, fine, good for you. But don't sit there and go, oh, Jimmy Buffett. Like, he was an iconic legend. To some people, to the rest of America, he was just some guy that made a bunch of music and made a shit ton of money off of it. I don't think anything was ever established more than that. And people say, no, you're just going to sit here and disparage him after he's dead? No. What I'm saying, though, is that I never really thought he was all that great. Every one of those Margaritaville restaurants, I mean, that place, I don't know. The guy made his money all the time. Oh, you're going to see Jimmy Buffett? No. Why not? Because I don't like his music. How do you not like Jimmy Buffett? Because I don't. I love tequila. I hate flip-flops. Okay, how about that? No, I didn't really seem to care. But at the same time, I am a human being that is, I have empathy and I have, feelings about stuff, and I don't want bad things to happen to people just in general. So, hey, rest in peace to Jimmy Buffett. Thanks for the whatever, and that may be an unpopular opinion to a lot of people, but no, I'm not really that upset about it. So, it's just one of those things where, you sit there and people go like, oh yeah. Well, obviously. No, obviously you like Jimmy Buffett, right? No, What? Yeah, but the look on that lady's face. Fucking Jimmy Buffett died. Ooh, all right. Good golly. You know, I was way more upset about the passing of Paul Reubens, Pee Wee Herman, but I was a huge fan of him. I was a big fan of him. So why, you know, that's my thing. But if somebody says to me, "Oh, Paul Reubens died," I'm like, "Yeah, that's sad." And they went, I've been like, okay. I wouldn't have given this look of disgust like this woman did to me. She just looked at me like literally. She gave me a look, like except for the pain part. She looked like I had walked up to her out of nowhere and just stomped on her foot. Like, why? What? Ugh. He actually died from skin cancer, which is something else. It's terrible. Like, I don't like the situation of it. But I'm not sitting here crying about the fact that Jimmy Buffett died. Period. I'm not. I'm not sorry about it. I'm sorry to the people who loved and knew him. If you loved and knew his music, well, then I feel bad for you on that aspect. But don't get judgmental on somebody else because they don't care that Jimmy Buffett died. I don't. I never did. My condolences to everybody who loved and knew him. But I don't give a shit about the fact that Jimmy Buffett died other than that. Other than that he was a human being and he died. Okay? That's it. Do you know how many fucking people I knew that were mad about the fact that they went to a Jimmy Buffett concert and their fucking girlfriend was flashing everybody because that was the fucking thing to do? For how many years? Like living off that one freaking song? Come on. And then, of course, well, now somebody would say, this is the other thing. I was talking to my buddy the other day, and he's like, "Oh, how are you going to sit there and talk about Jimmy Buffett and his one claim to fame, and you're going to sit there and be such a huge fan of Paul Reubens?" Because Paul Reubens was a fucking actor that did more than just Pee Wee Herman. He was in the Cheech and Chong movies, right? Remember the Sorry, I'm not sorry. Yeah. And he actually had a 6-year battle with cancer. And, you know, but hey, that's me. But I'm not going to sit there and judge somebody because you don't like Paul Reubens. I'm not. You're not saddened. You're not saddened by the fact that Paul Reubens died. Okay. I'm fine with that. As long as you don't stomp on my foot, I'm happy with you. I don't care. You know, but I saw Pee Wee's Big Adventure probably 1,000 times. I've probably seen it like 1,000 times. Pee Wee's Big Adventure. And, you know, it's one of those movies I can watch it for a few minutes, go away, come back. I know exactly what's going on. The quotes from it all. You know, I don't make monkeys. I just train them. Obviously tell them Large Marge sent you. You know, just a ton. I'm a loner. I'm a rebel. I think my favorite part of that movie, there's a bunch. I love Jan Hooks as the tour guide at the Alamo. She was awesome. And that movie, just eclectic characters and just the zaniness of Pee Wee. But I think my favorite part was when they make a movie about him going to find his bike and everything. And of course it's all Hollywooded up and he's sitting there, he plays the bellhop and has to page Pee Wee Herman, which is that actor with I don't remember his name, but he's sitting there and they get the bellhop, the actual Pee Wee, to come over and he's like, "Paging Mr. Herman, paging Mr. Pee Wee Herman," because they took his voice out and they dubbed it out to somebody else. It's one of the best parts of the whole movie. That and when the Jan Hooks is laughing, going, "There's no basement in the Alamo." Yeah. But Paul Reubens, though, he did a bunch of other stuff, and I loved him. I loved when he popped up in different things. I personally was very saddened to hear about the passing of Paul Reubens. And another one that I was very saddened to hear about was the passing of Johnny Hardwick, who, if you don't know who Johnny Hardwick is, you probably know him as the wild conspiracy theorist. Dang it, Dale, I told you. Yeah, you might know him. He was the voice of Dale Gribble on one of my favorite all-time shows, King of the Hill. Passed away, and very suddenly. And, you know, a lot of people didn't even realize all the stuff that he did on that show. They were making new episodes, which I'm very saddened to hear about that. About, you know, he won't be a part of it. Actually, if you really want to see something pretty funny, it's a little eclectic. I guess that's my word of the day. I'm throwing that in there. If you go on YouTube, there is some videos, some stuff that Johnny Hardwick put on where he is reading like current event news, and he's reading it in the voice of Rusty Shackelford. Yeah, you know that. Yeah, the Dale Gribble, Dale Gribble's alter ego. Yeah, and it just really does a cha. He does all that stuff, man. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. He's smoking a joint in one of them. I thought that was pretty funny too. Here's one of the things though. Okay, people want to talk about. Oh, if you liked King of the Hill, which I know I did, I still do. Did you know? So basically, Johnny Hardwick was from Texas, Austin area, and he had moved to L.A. He was doing a bit at the Laugh Factory. Yeah, he was at the Laugh Factory, and he was doing a bit about his father back home in Texas, and Mike Judge was there, and he was there with some other people, and they said, hey, we like that voice, that character that you do. Would you try? Maybe you want to try to do it on this show. You know, it's about some people from Texas. You're from Texas. You get the accent down and everything. So he said, yeah, I'll do it. And he did it. One of the things, though, about that whole thing with Johnny Hardwick being on the show is the fact that Daniel Stern had already been auditioned and pretty much casted into the role. Now, if you don't know who Daniel Stern is, you would know him as, it's the Wet Bandits. We're the Wet Bandits. Yeah, that guy from Home Alone was going to be the voice of Dale Gribble. But then it didn't work out, and Johnny Hardwick got it, and the rest is awesome comedy history. So that made me very sad as well. And then, of course, Bob Barker. Oh, my gosh. 99. And all you people out there with your jokes about, oh, he got the closest to $1 without going over. Hey, you can still he could have been 100 and hit the dollar mark. Okay, you dummies. Yeah, you can get $1 on that wheel. But yeah, you got 99 years old, almost 100. And, but that, that was sad. Him and that weird stick microphone he had as a kid. I don't know how many times I watched it. Of course, I watched it. Now, people talk about, being home from school, being sick, playing hooky, faking sick, whatever it is you were doing at the time. A lot of people talk, I was the babysitter. But I used to watch a ton of Price is Right when I was in the summertime. Yeah, I would watch it. It was, I'd watch it in the morning. Watch news. I would watch soap operas. I watched a lot of soap operas in the summer. I'm not gonna lie. What was it? One Life to Live or Another World? My mom watched them, and it's the summertime. It's the middle of the day, right? We didn't have air conditioning in the house, but I would just lay on the floor in front of a box fan in front of the TV, and that's what Mom wanted to watch. That's what we were watching, and I got into it. What was it? Another World? Something like that. Yeah. I had good old Bob Barker, who was, I don't know how many years old, and he was, hanging out behind the scenes with some of the spokesman. What do they call those on the show? The people that would go like this next to the stuff with wave their hands around. You know what I'm talking about. We all pretend to be them at some point in our life. He was notorious for having dated some of those much younger women. That guy was so rich. So that was another one. I mean, I'm just saying, this is just the whole first part. I'm already looking at potentially taking a break right now. Yeah, that's it. That much stuff to go over is literally comedy and people dying. This is what, yeah. One, this is why I need somebody else on the show. But also, this is the reason why it's just I need to do episodes more often, right? So that way I can just talk about one person dying as opposed to 4. And not go on. And I can go on a little more about other comedy stuff that I've done. Yeah, but that was cool. Very good time at Randolph Macon. I really did. I had a great time. And then, of course, rest in peace to anybody. And to my condolences to anybody who knew and loved any of the people that died. I mean, that's it. And people, this is so morbid. I'm not making it morbid. I'm making it simply like a damn. Like, you don't know. Paul Ruebens, nobody knew he had a 6-year battle with cancer. Jimmy Buffett was having the same thing. He was having melanoma issues, cancer. Yeah. And you just don't know. Bob Barker, obviously, he was older. But you never know, man. And I just want to express my appreciation. And some people are going, oh, well, didn't some women die? I'm sure they did. But none that stick out to me at the moment. I get it. Okay. I'm not everybody. You want to help me out? You want to do some research? Hey, John, for your dead person segment, do you want to talk about this lady? Sure. Who? What? Okay. I'm just saying. There's no bias. There's no gender bias in this. I saw something the other day, and it was one of the memes, one of the meme things, and it was Eminem. It was Eminem. And back in the day, yeah, maybe you get out into some lose yourself, right? Right before you go into a big comedy show, lose yourself in the moment. Yeah. Yeah. And then right? You get into that. But other than that, yeah, Eminem, he's okay. However, I saw a thing the other day where he said, he was like, look, I don't care if you're gay, straight, lesbian, whatever, female, fat, skinny, poor, rich. I don't care. As long as you're nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you. And if you're cool, I'm cool. So no gender bias here. All right. Well, continuing, we're going to have to talk. I got to take a break. This literally took up so much of my time. I think I've almost recorded an entire episode, just this alone. What the heck is that about? No, this will get cut down. But let me take a break real quick. And when we come back, we'll be talking about some more entertainment. This is more of just an entertainment, I guess, kind of an episode. We'll be talking about Ahsoka. And then we'll see what else we can get into. All right. So more John D Podcast right after this. When I quit booze for good, one thing I learned was to always keep your palate entertained. And one of my new favorite ways to make it happen is BlendJet 2. BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up a smoothie at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even an NA margarita on the beach. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through tough ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease. BlendJet 2 is whisper quiet, so you can make your morning smoothie without waking up the whole house. Lasts for 15 plus blends and recharges quickly via USB-C. Best of all, BlendJet 2 cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap and you're good to go. With over 30 plus colors and patterns to choose from, there's a BlendJet 2 to complement just about any style. What are you waiting for? Go to blendjet.com and grab yours today. And be sure to use the promo code JohnDPod12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. No other portable blender on the market comes close to the quality, power, and innovation of the BlendJet 2. They guarantee you'll love it or your money back. Blend anytime, anywhere with BlendJet 2 Portable Blender. Go to blendjet.com and use the code JohnDPod12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today and get the best deal ever. BlendJet 2. And welcome back to part 2 of episode 55 of John D Podcast. I'm your host, John D. Miller. How was your break, everybody? Yeah, John D Pod 12 for 12% off and free shipping on blendjet.com, John D Pod 12. And then thanks to anybody else you might have heard, any of our sponsors. Some of you might have heard none. Some of you heard me go, we'll be right back. And then when there I was right back. So, hey, enjoy the silence for a second. Okay. So as I was saying before the break, yeah, Ahsoka. Have you loved it so far? You know what? This is some of the best Star Wars we've ever gotten on Disney Plus, in my opinion. And I thought that Andor, Kenobi, all this stuff we're getting out of this. I really thought it was very good as far as production quality went, as far as musical scores went. But Ahsoka, just some of the directing, some of the visualization of some of the things in it have been awesome. I think Rosario Dawson's doing a great job with Ahsoka. No spoilers in this at all. I'm trying to keep it at least to a minimum. I think Ahsoka is proving that the wait was well worth it, because there is, of course, all the stuff that was delayed because of COVID as far as production went. Now, of course, we're going to be facing another bit of a delay before we get back some of our favorite content to consume because of the ongoing WGA SAG after strikes, which I said in the last episode are very important. So I am supportive of them. However, I will say that this is going to suck. It's going to suck. It's going to suck a little bit. But I think it's been awesome. I think it's been well worth it. Some of the backstories. I mean, if you know the backstory of Ahsoka, if you know the backstory of Rebels, if you know all that, you're good. You're very good. But even if you're not, it's still very much easy to pick up on. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for Mandalorian to show up. When's he going to show up? I heard that there was something going on. Like, him come up and then Grogu with his walking robot, in case you didn't know who that was going on. And if you haven't seen Mandalorian season 3, okay, there might have been a little bit of a spoiler, but nonetheless, yeah. But that was that came out months ago. I'm not sad about that. I don't feel bad about doing it. I don't mind talking about something that's months old. Now, a matter of a couple of weeks or a month or whatever, that's a little different. But like I always said, I always tell the story. We were having people over here at the house, and I talked about how in The Force Awakens, I didn't like how Han Solo died. And somebody that was here for the little party we were having said, "Oh my God, he dies?" And it was like, it's been 7 months. If you haven't seen it by now, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. But anyways, yeah, I'm just waiting for Mando to show up. I don't know when he will, because they all intertwine. Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, they all intertwine. I'm very impressed with it. Special effects, the music have been cool. I do regret the fact that I've been having to watch it on my MacBook down here in the Stoofus, because which is great because I get great sound from my studio equipment. I put the headphones on, I get great sound. However, the picture is a little lacking. I mean, it's a MacBook. I mean, it's a few years old MacBook too. But even then, it's the size of the screen. It's not it's the size. It is literally the size of the screen. Is what I'm fussing about. It's literally the size. What can I say? I'm a size king when it comes to my my viewing screens. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Anyway, so check that out. It's on Disney Plus. Ahsoka. I highly recommend it. It was burning a hole in my mental health that I hadn't made a new episode in so long. But at the same time, I don't feel bad if I'm busy doing things, and I really feel like I have been. And when I'm not, I should go record. I'm just tired, and I don't know what to talk about, and I'm doing what I can. I really appreciate everybody who listened to episode 54, by the way. Oh my goodness. It was absolutely, I don't know what happened. It popped off in several places. And long story short, and just awesome. I really appreciate that. Anybody listen to it. But I do want to say, I was going to mention it earlier, but I went on Apple Podcasts. I have some reviews, some ratings. It's only like 8 of them, which I would hope there'd be more. And like I said, I don't usually like talk numbers because some people would say that's all you got. Some people would say, wow, we wish we had that, whatever. But I would think that I would have more. But I got a 1 star. I got a 1 star on Apple Podcasts. And I really, you know who leaves 1 stars on Apple Podcasts? People who live in giant houses and tip their DoorDash drivers $2. Those are the type of people. Like, who does that? You're just going to go around 1? I can't. Just the fact that you're doing something, just the fact that you're making something and making an effort, I think is 3 stars out of 5. Unless it's really bad, then maybe it's 2. But, yeah. Somebody gave me a 1 star. And I think it was probably, I want to say maybe, did they listen to episode 2? Because I went back and listened to that the other day. And oh my God. Just the drunkenness and the rambling of it was just, yeah. I was like, man, why did I ever think that this was a good idea to be talking like this? I think I sound better now. Like, who gives a 1 star to somebody? I think it was probably one of my exes. I think that's what it was. Oh my God, John has a podcast? Really? I'll give it a listen. 10 seconds later. It sucks just like he does. Boo. 1 star. You know, that's what I feel. That's what I feel it is. I mean, that's in my opinion. What else could it be? It's not that bad, really. Is it? So thank you for listening. But all right, I got to get going. As always, like, subscribe, download, tell your friends. Don't forget your charities, okay? No Kid Hungry. Many school-aged children are in situations where the best meal of the day for them comes from school. No Kid Hungry helps children with meals when children in need are away from school, such as weekends and holidays. Wounded Warrior Project. The brave men and women who have served our country deserve the best care we can give them after they return home. Some of them have wounds that are external and or internal that they might need help with, or even just accessible housing. BestFriends.org is making a difference by helping homeless dogs and cats in shelters be adopted faster and in more numbers. Their goal is to have the entire country no-kill shelters by the year 2025. Check out and support these orgs if you can, or any others that may be in your local area. And after all that, after the charity, you got a little something for a little chair on me. You can support this show through Venmo at John D. PodCom, JOND PodCom. You can email the show, johndpodcom at gmail.com. Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, John D. Comedy, John D. Podcast. Facebook, John D. Podcast, John D. PodCom on Threads and Instagram. Executive producers for John D. Podcast are Tom Hancock, that's his voicemail when you call him, and Liz Miller. Thanks to them each for helping to make this happen in their own ways. This episode was recorded and produced by yours truly, John D. Miller, in the Amber Tree Media Studio. Don't forget blendjet.com, John D. Pod 12 is your code for 12% off and free shipping. Thanks to all of our other sponsors out there. I forgot to mention, forgot to do it. MondoMonsterwear.com. They sponsor everything geeky and nerdy on the show. MondoMonsterwear.com. Podcast at checkout for a discount. Take care of yourselves, all right? I'll be back to you sooner than several weeks, hopefully. All right, I'm gonna do my best, but know that I'm on no set schedule, so. I'll be back to you sooner rather than later, okay? Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Enjoy Ahsoka. Enjoy the NFL. Here comes hockey. Until next time, later for you.